Welcome to my 1 year, 20-day check-in with no nicotine. And in today's video, I'm going to be just checking in when it comes to mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So mentally, I have been pushing myself when it comes to mentally and when it comes to applying myself mentally towards, let's say, new thought patterns, new mental forms, and also developing like new ways of thinking when it comes to the areas that I want to expand on when it comes to mentally. I've realized that my mental state of being has been benefiting off the physical state of being, continuously staying like active, continuously like just taking care of the physical state of being has generally helped my mental state of being be able to stay clear, mental state of being be able to continue on staying strong. And even in times where, let's say, physically I'm exhausted, now mentally my state of being, with having this strength, now is able to continue on regardless of if the physical state of being is spent or tired or needs rest or whatnot, which is not completely a new concept for me, and primarily because I've worked out a great amount, and all those workouts pretty much get sore from, and I've been able to do things like this, like necessarily apply my state of being when it comes to mentally, even while I'm going through that recovery state when it comes to physically. So I think that it does not affect you negatively when it comes to your having your physical state of being in a great way. Like basically having your physical state of being in check will not hurt in getting sore and stuff like that, and pushing yourself when it comes to physically, it will only help to expand your mental state of being. And yeah, sure, you might be exhausted again when it comes to mentally, and that's when you'll know, like, okay, I gotta take a break, I gotta give myself some time to literally mentally detach, mentally either get off what you have in your mind, or have a break from thinking so much, or specifically thinking on something that you're working on. Give yourself that time and space to just recuperate when it comes to mentally. And you will notice that these states of being go hand in hand, and when you're taking care of both of them, then each one will benefit the other. When it comes to mentally, I like to basically stay mentally stable regardless of what's going on around me, and I like to always mentally hold my own thoughts in a space where I'm always checking in when it comes to mentally, like basically always communicating with not only my surroundings, but strong communication with yourself when it comes to your mental state of being will help you just be in a better well-being in general. Realizing, where one state of being compares to another state of being, even though to compare is possibly to be a thief of joy, you can look at a comparison and not take the dramatic parts of a comparison, and take one thing and distincting it from another, rather than acting all competitive and one's better than the other and which one blah blah blah. Well, take it mentally and like use this way, like your mind chatter, in a way to be able to look at a situation and mentally break it down and be like, okay, mentally my state of being compares to this state of being, compares to this state of being, is a right state of mind. And you can learn that you might be doing something a right way, and you'll want to continue on doing it right that way when it comes to your mental state of being. If you are around people and you're dealing with people and mentally you want to know, like, what do these people think, what do these people what are their mental states of being focused on, and you don't ever have to worry about what other people are thinking, although there are some people that do, and I have felt that way before. I've acted that way before. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna come here and lie. I'm only gonna come here and tell the truth. And you know, just forgot my point. That's why I got up and moved around a little bit real quick. But what was my point? I was talking about how, mentally, if you're around other people and you're trying to think, like, what do these people think about me? That's not really important. But if you are in your own state of being, in your right state of being when it comes to your mental state of being, throughout that time, don't even worry about it. You'll be able to be aware of, experiences surrounding these person, places, or things that will hit your mental state of being, and you'll take it in and you'll see it through a perspective of, all right, what is this situation? What is the mental interaction with this situation? And you'll start to understand the more that you are in your right state of mind when it comes to mentally, and not just understand, but overstand and see through reality and be able to tell, like, okay, this situation acquires me to think this certain way. That situation acquires me to think a different way. In this situation, I should be thinking in this way. In this situation, I should be thinking when it comes to this way. And you'll realize that also with that, you'll be thinking that and seeing that this person thinks like this based upon the experiences that you see out of them. This situation played out like this when it comes to mentally. Now you'll be able to start to go through these experiences more mentally being aware of more mentally being aware of what's going on around you. And that's by simply mentally always being sharp, mentally always having that voice, and always communicating with yourself when it comes to positive mind chatter. And that's going to be like encouraging yourself, self-confidence, self-esteem. All that stuff is just simply you being at peace and being in the right state, wave, frequency, and vibration in the space that you're in. All that is going to be taken into play. So that's how you will be able to, mentally stay strong, mentally stay you know, experiencing a a frequency that is higher, a vibration that is more higher, a wave of mental forms that is more frequent. Maybe you're more snappy, you're more quick to move on to things when it comes to mentally. And yeah, that's pretty much, if you want to become more aware when it comes to mentally, just expand what you are mentally paying attention to, and then also at the same time continue on building your mental forms, continue on building mental stability and mental strength. All right, physically checking in. I talked about how I've been pushing myself a lot when it comes to physically, and that's true because I want to continue on going through as much as I can, putting myself through as much as I can when it comes to physically, and seeing how I can recover from that. And also seeing that I'm becoming more and more healthier the more that I carry around less fat on my vessel, and the more that I'm active, the more my heart has an opportunity to pump more blood circulation, and the better food that I eat. And the reason I work out a lot, because when I do work out, the food that I want to eat is the food that's right for me. So I'm constantly becoming better when it comes to physically what I'm putting in my body, and I'm constantly becoming better at physically at staying aware and being protected and protecting myself from anything external that can influence me. And not that that's something I need to worry about, not that that's something that anyone needs to worry about, but the fact of the matter is you need to know how things are affecting you when it comes to physically, so that you can prepare for the next time something like that happens. You can physically put yourself in the right space now when that happens. You can be looking for certain things now, based off of the experiences you've gone through when it comes to physically. And like I said, physically, why would you not want to continue pushing yourself forward and continue working hard, continue pushing no matter what? And that's a lot about what working out means to me. It's about, physically having a way to exert some energy, having a way to physically be stimulated and blow off some steam. It's great. It gets your mind state and mental state kind of locked in, because everything seems to balance out. And when you are doing the right things and when you are putting in that work, and yeah, no one should worry about anything happening when it comes to physically. Like I've said, I've talked about on this channel, I quit nicotine a year and 20 days ago, and I'm around it all the time, and I've honestly have had it in the air of where I've been, and I've been continuously around it, and nothing has made me relapse. I haven't, had to worry about that, and that just goes to show that physically I'm continuing to learn, and you all can too, is how to stay protected when it comes to physically. And we learn each time and each experience we go through, how can we now act more towards the next experiences. How can we be more, let's say, physically aware, or more physically conscious of what is going on, and continue on pushing yourself when it comes to physically. Because you got to take care of what you got to take care of. You got to put yourself in a physical state of being that is right for you. And if you're not in that right state of being, then I'm here to tell you right now, you can get there. You can absolutely make it to where you need to be. And just pay attention to where you are, like where you're standing when it comes to physically. Where do you stand? If you made it this far in the video, drop a like, show some support. Appreciate you being here. I'm just taking a few seconds to kind of chill out for a second. Just think a little bit. Give me a second to think here. See if I have anything else for physically checking in. I mean, I will say, always protect what's yours. Always protect your kingdom. Protect your, your territory, and anything that you care for, protect that. Don't let anyone influence that. Don't let anyone have an effect on that. And if something is trying to get in, something is trying to have an effect on your physical state of being, or something that you have around you in your physical state of being, see it for what it is. If it's a threat, then it's a threat. If it's an attack, then it's an attack. If you are sensing something, then that's what you're sensing. You'll become more aware when it comes to paying attention to things physically. And on the other side of things, is this praise, is this, positive energy when it comes to what am I receiving right now, or the action, or the scenario I'm in right now, is this the right space to be in when it comes to physically? I know I'm constantly working on just always becoming a better version of myself. I can say that for sure. Emotionally, let's check in emotionally. Emotionally, like if I'm talking about right now, I feel great. I feel like I'm doing the right things. I feel like even when I've experienced anxiety recently, I've been able to dial it back and find the root cause and the starting point of why is that anxiety happening in the first place? What is making me feel that way in the first place? Why do I feel this way? So being able to find out exactly why you feel that way, and then being aware of it and telling yourself, is this something that you need to look into deeper, or is it something that you can let fly? Is this something that I can apply, or is this something that I need to apply? Is this emotional something that I need to look into, apply, learn something from it, and then apply? Or is it something that I need to not pay attention to and understand that, chalk it and save it for the birds, because you know what? I gotta let this fly. Emotionally, I've been able to understand when, like I said, being aware when it comes to emotionally, being aware of, is this person expressing praise? Is this person expressing contentment? Is this person expressing anything like that? And let's say you are not necessarily emotionally aware. You might not understand what's actually happening because you're not, emotionally in the right state of being, and you're not even able to understand other people's emotional states of being because you yourself aren't balanced when it comes to emotionally. So always try to find that balance when it comes to emotionally, as well as the balance when it comes to mentally, physically, as well as spiritually, and balance in general. Because we do live in a life that, if you pay attention, this life is balanced. There are things around us, there are things within us, there are things that we experience that are balanced. And I'm not saying, you'll just reach a perfect balance if you follow these rules, if you follow these steps, you'll reach a perfect balance. No, that balance is always being found. There's always a balance that you can get to, because that's just how, the universe works. Because you're never just going to be in one place. You're going to continue moving forward regardless. You don't ever stop moving through the life. But yeah, if you're not knowing that, then you can't move around as freely. You can't deal with people as social as possible. You can't forget that. Think about how this could affect the way that you treat yourself, how your emotional state of being can affect the way that you act when it comes to physically, the way that you act when it comes to mentally, the way that you act when it comes to emotionally, and then spiritually. Understand that as long as you have that stable emotional state of being, anything could be happening around you, and I mean anything, and you will stay protected, and you will be able to understand how you need to go through this situation um, based upon your emotional state of being. And spiritually, checking in, there is a lot of, like I said in my last video, and like I've said, I'm sure in a lot of videos, is paying attention to the synchronicities and paying attention to, what's going on. So let me explain. I was around someone who had what I believe to be one of those Lost Mary vapes. And if you are new to my channel or you just haven't seen that video, I do have a video where I exposed Lost Mary vapes for how they, deceive a percentage of the population that uses their products to continue using those products just because they market it in a way where they think that the average sheep would think that this is suitable and just enough and makes sense logically when really it doesn't. But anyways, if you haven't seen that video, check that video out. But yeah, moving forward, I saw a group of people, and one of them had, like I said, what I think was one of those Lost Mary vapes, and they just had it out, and they were acting a little odd, and I wanted to pay specific attention to this person and to see if, because I don't think these people have seen, that I have this channel and that I make videos about quitting nicotine, and better yet, that I've exposed the Lost Mary vapes before on this channel. And hey, do you at the end of the day. I'm not casting any judgment, I'm just speaking the facts of the matter. And so I like to pay attention. I'm trying to find out, spiritually, what am I carrying with me? What kind of energy do I carry with me spiritually, where someone who doesn't even know that, I do this on this platform, and if you do, then great, power to you. Good to see you, and good to hear too. So paying attention to how they were acting, paying attention to how they're fidgeting around with the device, and how they were, let's say emotionally, they were a little bit unbalanced because basically odd behavior that seems a bit, closed off, a little bit selfish, a little bit entitled, but that is just not sure. That's not first. I have realized this energy before because I have talked about it in my video, but that's another time that I've experienced the absence of an energy in someone and the presence of something that one can view as demonic, or one can view as a action that you do and you continuously do to feel good, to please your desires, yet at the same time it's killing you. And killing you, you didn't sign up to be in this body. You didn't sign a paper and say, oh, this is my body. You didn't purchase this vessel. And to think that you would just run yourself down like that is not necessarily looked at in a, let's say, angelic way, or the perspective that an angel will have on that is that is low vibrational, and that is no action for someone who wants to put themselves in a heaven. That would be someone who wants to at least not be aware that they might be leading into putting themselves into a hellish experience. But nonetheless, I've noticed the absence of certain energy in humans, and those are the ones that I'm paying attention to, and I'm going to continue paying attention to, because I know it just doesn't have to do with nicotine. I know it just doesn't have to do with substance use or anything like that, but I'm going to get to the bottom of it. And like I said, spiritually, I know that, you know, I had that perspective and I was able to look at it through that lens, and that just reminds me that spiritually I'm on the right path, that spiritually I'm putting in the right work. And if those people are, let's say thinking about quitting or wanting to quit it, nicotine or anything like that, then hey, you know what? Then maybe they'll find my channel. But I was just paying attention to them, seeing what I can learn from those experiences, because spiritually you want to pay attention to your synchronicities. You want to pay attention to patterns that are happening at a constant rate, and that patterns that are pointing towards things that you can decode and that you can find out further information about things. And not just finding out further information about things, but also gaining knowledge and wisdom out of the information that you're gathering. So for example, learning from your experiences and seeing okay, from that experience, I felt no type of way towards this person who had the vape device, because I'm so detached from that now that I am, however long it's been since I've had nicotine. But nonetheless, I just know that I've, conquered that when it comes to spiritually, and then I'm spiritually in a completely different space, and that the spiritual plane of existence that I'm on can be a very, let's say, important or strict when it comes to spiritually, because I cut out a specific desire that I wanted to get rid of, and I'm witnessing that when I did that, I was able to understand and see and overstand through all else, and be able to tell spiritually that, I'm gaining a spiritual awareness from this. I'm gaining a spiritual perspective that is extremely special, and that is extremely my own, and that is original, and that I continue to find that and continue to develop that, original, my own way of a spiritual system. And I think that's what each one has to do for themselves, is to figure out a way of life that's right for them, and a way of spirituality that's right for them, rather than getting stuck into a religion, one of these mainstream religions that are out here today to be stuck in, just because, I've talked about it before, but some religions are the opposite of what they say they're for, and it's just a way of getting someone wrapped into a religion, wrapped into a certain pattern of redoing something over and over again. And these, like they say, Jesus died for your sins. So when I hear that, I don't know if anyone else listening hears that. If you do, come on, let me know. But when I hear that phrase, Jesus died for your sins, all I hear is preaching, Jesus died for your sins. And what that means to me when I hear that is, oh, my sins are not on me. this responsibility doesn't fall on me. And how is that the right way if, oh, you can make mistakes, you can do things that are bad under the guise of, oh, Jesus died for your sins. And you know what? That's not something that's good at all. Even if you say, oh, you're thinking way too deep into it. Just think about what the words say and that's all it means. Okay, well, guess what? You're saying that Jesus, the Son of God, uh, like, that most believe in incarnate of God, which, as we know, we are all by the Bible made, or the Torah, in the image of God. So we know that if that happens, someone else that's part of God died for your sins. Does that not seem a little bit backwards to you? So let's just say that's one example. But I'm not trying to, start a fight with any religious folks or do anything like that. I'm just saying that I think people need to find that path for themselves when it comes to spiritually and not be so focused on, like I said. But yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks for the experience, and stay mentally strong, stay mentally protected, stay physically strong, stay physically protected, stay emotionally balanced, stay emotionally strong, stay emotionally protected, and stay spiritually protected. Stay spiritually strong, continue on putting in that work, and most of all, stay protected. All right, I'll catch you in the next one.